Evos wants to play a 1-3. I can only assume this has to be a 1-3-1. I could be wrong after, seeing some of the previous games today. But Geek Fam on the other side, they're looking to play a little bit more team comp.
Flies it down for us. So Contra and Gideon, take it away.
All right, let's look at how the teams kind of disperse out into the lanes. You notice that everyone dispersed out very, very evenly just to make sure that there aren't any holes in their defense. Soul is forced to walk back, realizing that he's not going to be able to defend his wave too much here, but he will try and contest both of them with the smart missiles. He's brought both of them to 50% HP, so it's definitely understandable. Oh no,
they're looking to dive immediately. Flicker coming out, and first blood goes to Zorn. Somebody in the chat seems like they have definitely not get any skins at all for making a wrong prediction. And of course, now back towards the side of Evos. How are they supposed to respond with a 3-man movement? Make that poor Babby's pretty much outnumbered and forced to flicker away. Becky gives him a little bit of that mercy right down below, and where look at this. Now getting hunted down by Fossa. A little bit too deeper into that right now.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. It looks like Oh Dear Bambi is still going to be alive with the help. Oh no, he's going to get Nova under Zorveki. He is hesitating. He's hesitated for half a second. And that means Nana gets to go away scot-free. JPL here to absorb the wave and take that EXP for himself. Slow game so far. One death coming from the side of Soul, making definitely a mistake there. He bit off a little too much than he could chew.
Yeah, of course, he didn't really expect so much of that heavy commitment coming from Geek Fam to secure that first blood. And not only that, Geek Fam members have managed to force members of Evos to back away. That is actually going to be affecting them in terms of a little bit of like goal as well as EXP. But look at Fossa though, he's already level 5.
Yep, they're trying to play the hyper carry as much as they can, but now the supports are taking too much damage as Zorn and Feeks are just cutting through them like butter. Oh Dear Bambi doesn't have a lot of stats to help him out here. He's the first to go down amongst the supports. That's a little unfortunate, but what can they really do here? Yeah,
what they could possibly do is to chase over on the side of Zorn, which doesn't really help the race as we are looking at. Maybe a little bit of that overturn over on the side of Lin to possibly do something, but it's just going to be a little bit of that damage output coming out. Now, back towards the top side of that sort of the skirmish, we're looking at Arts here. Taking a little bit too much damage from that sort of dive.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this game, the pacing of it is really, really slow. Fossa taking quite a bit of damage, but now he's able to get out of it, goes into the Blazing Duet. Unfortunately, Zorveki was very ready to actually handle that. Gets out of there without taking too much damage back, forcing Fossa to actually, back away and be very careful here because he might get executed instantaneously because his HP was too low. He pops the smoke screen, but Nana isn't gonna let him go just yet. The rest of the team is disengaging as Arts is going to be the next on the chopping block, but he has to use his consecration to get on out of there. Well played to Geek Fam right now, and it kind of feels weird because I don't expect Evos SG. There we go. The classic Zorn catch out, and Oh Dear Bambi flickers on out of there. He survives with 1 HP. How? How?
He flickers immediately, and that timing couldn't be even better, Bambi. Oh my goodness. Geek Fam putting so much heavy commitments, and of course, Orange Tree Kills in the back, 2k deficit, and now they're crunching right in. Oh, they're actually still above, knocking them over the air, but they did actually flick Zorn right under the turret. Now, of course, even more of that sort of the takes coming in from the side of Bambi and Co. to try to chase back in towards the side of Geek Fam, but that's all they can do for now. They managed to punish Fossa.
Yeah, and now the goal lead is starting to become a little substantial here. They've already given 3k over to Geek Fam, and the last time they did that, it didn't end too well for them, ending in the 2-1 overall. But it's kind of scary here. Now, Lun, he pops his ultimate, he's jumping on Feeks. He already used his Vengeance, but that's not going to be enough to keep him alive. JPL hopefully trying to turn the tides here, but Zorn a little tanky with the help of the Tenacity emblem, making him, a lot less susceptible to dying.
Yeah. Right now, of course, with all these members of Geek Fam really intruding every single corners of the jungle, I'm not too sure, like, Evos SG really has to get as much as they can here, coming from that river crab, and of course that would be handed into his Fossa. So he's playing a really big responsibility, and he needs to actually get online. Oh, JPL, he's getting built upon as Zorn gets himself that target from the side of Bloon. Members of Evos are slowly falling back, but now GeekFam has control of the river, which means they might actually get even more. Oh, fake knockup coming over, and here comes Kozorveki. They're falling back for a little bit more as Zorn will eventually be taken out alongside with the carry.
Really nicely done by Evos. They disengage very nicely and they punish GeekFam for overextending. But notice on the top side of the map that GeekFam is actually getting their lead because Soul is struggling. He's been put at a significant deficit, a 1k deficit against GeekFam's Arts. And at that point, Uranus has full control over the lane as Soul isn't able to kill him at that point in time. He's just too much to handle.
Too much to handle. Art seems to be able to actually handle just fine. Well, over on the side of Evos SG, they are just protecting a lot of all these sort of entry point in towards their buff. But yeah, going in towards this, I think Evos just needs one good fight to actually get back in towards the lead, and that shouldn't be too much of a problem as they are slowly scaling by.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that GeekFam didn't try to contest, go for Lord sooner, but, you know, it looks like they were playing the much safer game here. JPL has been caught out entirely by Zorn. Really nicely done, and despite the ult being popped by JPL, it still isn't going to save his life. He only has the Purify, and I think he was a little late to use it, but at that point in time, there was just no saving him.
Yeah, now Vecchino, he's trying to assassinate over onto Soul, but Soul is pretty much tanky. All he has to do is just flip one guy over, and here comes Fossa. He's trying to clear off the wave, and both Arts as well as Ozora will be able to actually walk out of that. And Zoran just have to flash a couple more emotes before they do something. But the bot side seems to be pretty much a very good push while they secure that tier 2 tower for GeekFam.
Yep. This is I don't know. Something feels off with something feels off here, but I can't put my finger on it. Looks like Zorn gets the initial catch after getting engaged on. Lund out of position. He's trying to hold on, but the last hit that you couldn't know is gonna secure the kill. Passive being already popped by Oh Dear Bambi. Luckily that flame shot didn't land, but the rest of GeekFam have essentially chunked out Evos. They can't really hold on to their own without Oh Dear Bambi dropping his ult just to disengage the team, and Zorn can play as disrespectful as he likes because no one can really handle him right now with the tenacity emblems on top of the fact that he's not playing for full damage.
Yeah, of course, he's so slippery, as we can see that he can also take quite a number of hits, while Arts is doing exactly the same as Uranus, tries to actually advance forward, trying to actually intrude right here with a little bit more of that sort of taunting going on, as both of them are just trying to actually get Evos SG all fired up.
Yep, and honestly, like, I didn't expect this game to come down to one mistake but from Evos SG, but at this point in time, the goal lead just tells me everything. Like 9k ahead against Evos SG. GeekFam are just either hyper prepared for this particular game, which I'm probably gonna rewatch the VODs to find out, or they just know something that I'm missing out here because Evos just don't feel right, and I can't figure out why.
Yeah, it seems like they're playing pretty much on the different side of the court here with pretty much passive plays, waiting for something to happen from GeekFam before they initiate. The usual Evos SG side, they are very aggressive, and now it seems like they're just waiting for something to happen then to actually create those opportunities, and GeekFam is just forcing them around, which is why, like, GeekFam is still going to be pretty much that sort of kryptonite if this goes on.
Yeah, and I mean, this game one, I'm definitely thinking that GeekFam is going to take this away from Evos unless Evos can really, really punish GeekFam on the next engagement. But, I mean, when you have a 10k goalie, can you really look to punish your opponents like that? Usually, at a high level, it's not acceptable to get punished if you are ahead, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not acceptable at all, and we're looking at JPL here. As much as he tries to actually take them pretty low, it's going to be a Warrior Dragon heading over his back, but of course, that's going to be a little bit of a problem for JPL as he tries to actually runs off. So, that Purify will be on cooldown for now. Oh, Fossa, though! One hit away from death, and GeekFam will not get any kills, although they have tried pretty hard.
Yep, and they still are trying. Evos just hitting the 20k mark, but Geek Fam is just so far ahead. They're in full control over this game, and they can basically starve Evos SG entirely. Like, they don't have to push the waves, they just have to be relatively nearby it. And every single time they walk up to try and take the wave, they will look to punish. And Zorn, making sure that his presence is felt. And Evos, they just can't walk out of their base anymore. They have no access to jungle creeps. They can barely touch the wave half the time. And Lord is coming up soon as well. And I think Geek Fam, if they want to rush Lord just so they can go for the Luminous Lord later on, doesn't seem like a bad idea considering how ahead they are in this game.
Yeah, and we're looking at Geek Fam here taking 3/4 of the map already, while Fix could definitely solo this one out because he's already level 15, and that lifesteal is going to be pretty much going to be fine for him to just get himself pretty much this Lord for free, while the rest of Geek Fam is just on duty, keeping the rest of Evos SG locked away by their own turrets.
Yeah, and this is just such an awkward position to come back from. Even if I was in Evos SG right now, I would be thinking like, how do I deal with Geek Fam right now? Because I don't expect Azora Veki to go anywhere near my base. That's a given. But Zorn, he's very difficult to punish here. He holds his Shunpo until he absolutely has to, and I think the only way they can look to punish is if they get a really good ejector on Dominus overextending, or Zorn thinking he can actually absorb all the damage. Because look, Fossa can actually put a bit of hurt into him now.
Oh yeah,
no.
but instead getting Nova Pot, it instantly gets deleted. Oh my! He, of course, did not expect that sort of damage, and now with the Lord coming in, and there's no Fossa to clear it, this is going to be really hard for the side of Evos. They have to put everything that they can, pedal to the metal, to take down this tower, and of course, defend that base from cracking. The Lord is still intact, and Evos only having 4 members here. They will eventually be able to actually hold on for now, but the top side here, of course, having a little bit of that sort of damage being done. Soul goes down as well. Of course, the way of the Dragon was pretty much beautiful with Zorn right now, and the rest of Geek Fam open things up real strong as the Blaze inside might just be able to actually take one game off of the side of Evos for now, but they are losing a little bit from that minutes as they are driving in towards the base. Zorn, of course, slowly waiting for what's about to come, a victory for Geek Fam.
Yeah, and a very convincing one at that. Like, if that doesn't break your soul a little bit, I don't know what